Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome back, my dear students, to the second part for the seventh session, our curriculum for the SAT exam for the math. In this session, inshallah, we will work together. Together in the third session in or the third lesson for the trigonometry. Let's start to talk about the Pythagorean identity. Pythagorean identity. The Pythagorean identity. We have to get the Pythagorean identity. We have to get the Pythagorean identity. Okay, as you see. Yesterday, Mister, we talked about Pythagorean identity, and we have sine square theta plus cosine square theta equals to 1. Yesterday, we talked about this. And we also get two other equation from it. Yes, the first equation is sine equal, and the sine equation is cosine equal. It means I get cosine in the other side by the opposite sign. Okay, so it will be sine square theta equal 1 minus cosine square theta. And also we get cosine square theta equals 1 minus sine square theta. Yes. So yesterday we talked about the Pythagorean identity. And today also we talk about the Pythagorean identity, but with another details. So the main equation is sine squared plus cosine squared equal to. From it, we can deduce that sine squared equal 1 minus cosine squared. Cosine squared equal 1 minus sine squared. Okay, mister. And we have another two rules. You must know them. What are the two rules, mister? I'll take the original equation. What is the original equation, mister? Sine squared plus cosine squared equal to 1. And the first, I'll divide it by the whole equation by sine squared, and divide the whole equation by cosine squared. So I'm going to get now the rule number 2. The rule number 2, it will be sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta equals 1. I'll divide the whole equation by sine squared. So sine squared theta, sine squared theta, sine squared theta. Okay, mister. Any number over itself is equal to 1 plus cosine squared over sine squared, cosine over sine. Yesterday we said sine over cosine is equal to tan. Cosine over sine, it's the opposite, mister. It will be cotan. Yes, but don't forget it's a cotan squared theta. Because sine squared and cosine squared. So sine over cosine is tan. Cosine over sine is, and 1 over sine, mister, it's the reciprocal of sine. The reciprocal of sine is cosec. So cosec squared. Oh, another rule. The rule said that cotan squared plus 1 equal cosec squared. Cotan squared plus 1 equal cosec squared. From where you get it? I said from where. Just to get this, the main rule, and divide the whole rule by sine. By the same rule, by the same way. I get the rule. And divide the whole rule in this time by cosine. So I divide by cosine squared. I divide by cosine squared. I divide by cosine squared. Sine over cosine, mister, you said it's a tan. So tan square theta. Any value over itself is 1. 1 over cosine, the opposite of cosine is what? Yes, it's a sec. So sec squared. This is the third rule. So tan squared plus 1 equals 6 squared. Tan squared plus 1 equals 6 squared. Cotan squared plus 1 equals cosec squared. Sine squared equal 1 minus cosine. Cosine squared equal 1 minus sine. Sine squared plus cosine squared equal to 1. Okay? Okay? I get 4 rules from the Pythagorean identity. Yes, said yesterday, it's a Pythagorean identity. I get 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Okay. We're going to the two complementary angles identity. Two complementary angles identity. Pay attention with me, please. Pay attention with me, please. In this problem, you must know that when the sine equals to cosine, when the sine equals to cosine, and when tan equals to cotan, if the two angles are complementary. Again, mister, if the two angles are complementary. In geometry, we said complementary angles, their sum is what? Is 90 degree. So sine is equal to cosine, the sine value equal to cosine value if the sum of the two angles is 90. It means if the first angle is 90 minus theta and the second angle is theta. If you add the two angles, it will be 90 because 90 minus theta plus theta cancel, it will be 90. So sine 90 minus theta equal cosine theta. Sine 90 minus theta equal cosine theta. And the opposite. Cosine 90 minus theta equal sine theta. Tan 90 minus theta equal cotan theta. This is called the complementary angle. So when cosine equal to sine, if I said, for example, sine 30 equal cosine space, mister, you will write here 90 minus 30, it's a 60. Sine 30 equal cosine 60. Okay, so the sine equal to sine if the sum of the two angles is 90 complementary angles. We're going to even and odd functions. Pay attention with me. In this remark, you must know that if you have a negative angle, if you have a negative angle, it means an angle in the fourth quadrant, an angle in the fourth quadrant. So if you have a negative angle, the cosine of the negative angle, is cosine the angle. It means, mister, the cosine eats the negative sign. There is no negative sign. Mister, if the angle is negative and I take the cosine, there is no negative, yes. But in sine and in tan, the value will be negative. Cosine negative angle equal negative sine angle. Tan negative angle equal negative tan angle. So if the angle is negative in sine and in tan, the result will be negative. In cosine, if the angle is negative, so the cosine eats the negative side. There is no negative. Okay. We go into the sum and the different identities. The sum and the different identities. Pay attention about this very well. Sine A plus B or sine A minus B. I just write the rule again. Sine the sum of two angles. It means, mister, the first angle is A plus the second angle is B. Equals to what, mister? Equals to what? Sine, cosine, cosine, sine. Again, mister, again. Sine A plus B equal sine, cosine, cosine, sine. Sine the first, cosine the second, plus cosine the first, sine the second. Sine, cosine, cosine, sine. This is what? Sine the sum of two angles. But mister, if it's not sum, it's a difference. It means a minus. So just will change this to be minus. Mister, if it's a plus, it's a plus, it's a minus, yes, the simple. This is for sine. What about cosine, mister? The rule of the cosine will be, if you have sine, the sum of A plus B, means the first angle is called A and the second angle is called B. It will be cosine, cosine, sine, cosine, cosine, sine, sine. So cosine the first to cosine the second minus what? Mister, it's a plus. So it is opposite. In cosine, it's opposite. If you have here plus, it will be here minus. Sine the first, sine the second. Okay. What am I master about if it's a difference? This is will be plus. Oh, the cosine is opposite. The cosine is opposite. If it's a positive, the middle sign will be negative. It's a negative, the middle sign will be positive. Okay, we're going to the tan. What is the rule of the tan? Tan the sum or the difference of two angles. So tan A plus B or tan A minus B will be. Let's start to write tan A plus B first in order not to confuse. Equal tan A plus tan B. So tan the first angle plus tan the second angle over 1 minus 1 minus the product of the two tans. It means the tan A, tan B. Tan A, tan B. Mister, if it's a difference, so you will change this and change this. Mister, so if it's a negative, the upper is will be negative and the lower will be positive. So this is the three rules. Mister, we have Pythagorean identity. Sine squared plus cosine squared equal to 1. And from this, we have four rules. Two complementary angle identity, I said, the sine equal to cosine, the sine equal to cosine if the sum of the two angles is 90 degrees. The tan equal to cotan if the sum of the two angles equal 90 degrees. Even and odd means, mister, by a simple way, if you have a negative angle and you deal with cosine, no negative. The negative will be removed. But in sine and in tan, the result will be negative. The sum and the different identities, if we have sine A plus B, it will be sine, cosine, cosine, sine. Cosine A plus B, it will be cosine, cosine, sine, sine. Tan A plus B, it will be tan A plus tan B over 1 minus the product of tan A, tan B. If we talk about the difference, you will change the sign. You will change the sign. The negative will be positive and the positive will be negative. Let's start to get the exercises. We have number one, find the exact value of cosine theta if sine theta equal 1 over 4 and we work in the second quad. How you work in the second quad, mister? Because we work from 90 to 180. And we said yesterday that from 90 to 180, it's the second quad. In the second quad, sine is positive. Cosine is what? Cosine is negative. Cosine is negative. So, mister, this is positive, this is out. This is positive or negative, it's out. This is, oh, we have still two answers. We have still two answers, okay? So to find the cosine, I ask you about the cosine. I ask you about the cosine. I ask you about the cosine. And I need to find the cosine, and he gave me the sign. He gave me the sign. I have two ways. Let's talk about the yesterday way. What is the yesterday way, mister? I said draw a triangle. I'll draw a triangle. And then after that, after drawing the triangle, we're going to write here. This is an angle which is called theta. He gave me that sine theta is 1 over 4. Sine is opposite, so our opposite is 1 over hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is 4. Now I need to get the adjacent. Now you must, this is a famous triangle, not famous. But what shall I do? Where is Pythagorean theorem? You must use here Pythagorean theorem. Pythagoras said that if we have to find the missing side, ask yourself, it's a leg or the hypotenuse? Mister, it's a leg, so make minus. So, mister, it will be 4 power 2 minus 1 power 2. So 4 power 2, mister, 4 power 2, mister, it will be equals to 16. 16 minus 1 power 2 is equal to 1, so the result will be root 50. So this side will be root 50. You ask me about what? About cosine. And we work in the second quad, so it's negative, so it's maybe C or maybe D. I'm going to calculate now. The cosine of any angle is adjacent over hypotenuse. It means Mr. Adjacent. It means Mr. Root 15. Over hypotenuse, it means 4. Don't forget you work in the second quad, so it's negative. So the result will be letter C. Okay, the result will be letter C. Okay, we going to number 2. We going to number 2. In number 2, simplification of the expression. Simplify the expression. Simplify the expression. It means I need the simplest form. To simplify any expression, I give you a rule. Don't leave any trig. Don't leave any trig function except sine and cosine. Yani if you see sine and cosine, leave it as it is. But if you see tan, write it as sine over cosine. Sec, write it as 1 over cosine. Cosec 1 over sine. يعني أنا بغير البروبلم بتاعتي all to sine and cosine. البروبلم بتاعتي all the problem must be sine and cosine, and then after that I can simplify. طب just start, Mr. Sine, I make here the fraction mark. Instead the fraction mark, I'll make divide. Okay, طيب. First I have sine, so I just write sine as it is, Mr. So sine theta. Cosec, so it's multiplied by cosec, it means 1 over sine theta. Divided by cotan, divided by cotan. So I just write cotan theta. You can cancel here this by this. Okay, so it's 1 divided by cotan theta. 1 divided by cotan theta, it will be 1 over cotan. 1 over cotan is what? It's tan theta. So it's very easy by using the rule. The rule of what? It's changing any trig function to be sine or cosine only. We're going to number 3. In number 3, he said sine x equal to m. And x is included between 0 and 90. In which quad? In which quad what? Oh, in the first quad, Mr. In the first quad. Okay. Then tan theta equal. Tan theta equal. Okay. I use the same rule. Mister, we have two rules to, two ways to solve this. We have two ways to solve this. Just use anyone. I'm going to use the rule of the drawing, like number 1. I'm going to write here. I'm going to write here. I'm going to write here. You are drawing a triangle, Mister. Yes. We work in the first quad. All the sine, cosine, tan, and cotan, and the second cosec are equal. Yes. Are positive. Yes. This is our angle. I name it by x. He said sine x is equal to m. Sine x, it means opposite. It means m. Over hypotenuse. Hypotenuse equals to what? He said only m. Any number stand over 1. Don't forget this. Any number stand over 1. It means m over 1. So our hypotenuse is 1. Mister, I need to get the adjacent. I need to get the adjacent by the same way. The rule said that for Pythagoras, a square root of the hypotenuse squared, it means 1 squared, minus the other side squared, it means m squared. It means m squared. So the hypotenuse squared minus m squared. Mister, it means 1 squared, it means 1 minus m squared. Okay? Okay. We're going to find tan. Tan is what over what? It's opposite over adjacent. What is the opposite, Mister? The opposite is m. What is the adjacent, Mister? I just get it, which is 1 over m, sorry, 1 minus m power 2. This is the result. This is the result. Mister, I don't find the result. Of course, you don't find the result. Why, mister? Because this result is not in the simplest form. This result is right. Wallahi, this result is right, but not in the simplest form. So already we solved the problem. Just some simplification. Some simplification. We just multiply by the root up and down. By the root up and down. So I multiply by the root here and multiply by 1 minus m square root. Any number multiply itself, it's power 2. Power 2 is the root, so I remove the root. So 1 minus m power 2. Up you multiply m by the bracket, by the square root. So m multiplied by 1 minus m squared. So this is the result. As you see, the result will be letter B. Mister, it's very difficult. Wallahi, it's very easy. It's like number one, but he don't give you a number. He gives me a value, a variable, which is m. So I just deal with m as a number. The same rules. I draw a triangle, and then I get the missing side. I get the value of the tan. After getting the value of the tan, you don't find the answer. So just I need to simplify. Okay, to simplify. The calculators are not allowed. I always said calculators are not allowed. Okay, we're going to number 4. Which of the following equivalent to this? It means simplify this. It means simplify this. Which of the following is equivalent to this? As we said, use the same rule. يلا مستر هنستخدم same rule. I need to change this over to be divided. And then after that, cosine. I write cosine as it is. So cosine theta. Multiply by cosec. Cosec, it means 1 over sine. So multiply by 1 over sine theta. Or sine, yes, sine theta. Divided by tan. So divided by tan theta. The second step. Cosine over sine. So I just write here cosine theta over sine theta divided by tan theta. So, mister, cosine over sine is what? Sine over cosine is tan. But this is what? Cotan. So, cotan theta divided by tan theta. So, cotan theta divided by tan theta, it means cotan theta. Multiply cotan theta, because tan, it means 1 over cotan. 1 over cotan. Okay, and I change divide into multiply and take the reciprocal. So cotan theta. Cotan times cotan, it means Mr. Cotan square theta. Cotan square theta. So the result will be cotan square theta. Okay, this is the result of number 4. I'm going to number 5. I'm going to number 5. In number 5, the expression cosec squared minus cotan squared equals to what? Cosec squared minus cotan squared equals to what? Pay attention with me. Mister, I'll use the identity. Which identity I'll use? Which identity I'll use? Mister, I know that excellent. I know that cotan square theta plus 1 equal cosec square theta. So cotan squared plus 1 equal what? Cosec. So I replace cosec by its value. Mister, you have cosec here. I replace cosec by cotan squared plus 1. So cotan square theta plus 1. And he said after that minus cotan. Minus cotan square theta. Positive cotan squared, negative cotan squared cancelled. It will be equals to 1. So the result will be letter A. Again, mister, I said cosec squared. Mr. Cosec squared equal cotan squared plus 1. But what about sec squared? equal tan squared plus 1. So sec squared equal tan squared plus 1. Cosec squared equal cotan squared plus 1. I replace cosec squared by its value, cancel the negative with the positive, the result will be 1. We're going to number 6. We're going to number 6. Number 6. Which of the following is not an identity? This is an. This is not on. This is an identity. Okay. Which of the following is not an identity, or it's not correct? Sine squared plus cosine squared equal to 1. It's an identity. It's right. 1 plus cotan equal cosec. We just said it now. Sine squared minus cosine squared equals to 2 sine squared. 2 sine squared. What about this? I don't know any idea about this. Let's check the last one. Tan squared plus 1 equal 6 squared. Yes, it's right. So the wrong is this. We don't have any idea about it. And the 3 other A, B, and D are right. So letter C is wrong. Okay. We're going to number 7. We're going to number 7. Find the exact value of sine 105. Sine 105. Okay, so sine 105. What shall I do? يا مستر ساين 105 yesterday لما كانت عندنا problem as this problem I use the reference point or the reference angle. The reference angle, Mr. 105, so I just get 180 minus 105, you will get 75. 105 or 75, 105 or 75, not from the famous angles. Not 60, not 30, not 45, not 90, not 180, not 0, not 360. But what shall I do? What shall I do? Okay. I'll use sine sum or difference of two angles. Sum or difference of two angles. Again, sum of the or difference of the oil. Mister, طب I'll use 105 or 75 the same. 105 or 75 the same. But no need for this step. So I just use the same angle, 105. So sine 105, I'll turn it into sum or difference of two angles. I turned it to the sum of two angles. What are the two angles? The two angles must be two of the famous angles we know. We have 45, we have 60, we have 30. We have 90, we have 180, we have 360. So I must add or subtract two of this famous angle and get 105. Which are two angles? If I add them, I get 105. Excellent. Okay, so it's a 60 and 45. So I just write sine 60 plus 45. Mister, you remember the rule of sine? Yes, I remember it. So sine the first, cosine the second, plus cosine the first, sine the second. The problem has been finished. If you know the values, let's recall the values. Recall with me, sine 60. Root 3 over 2 multiplied by cosine 45. It's root 2 over 2 plus cosine 60. Cosine 60 is equal to half. Sine 45 is equal to root 2 over 2. Equal. Multiply, and then after that plus. Multiply 2 times 2 is equal to 4. Root 6, sorry, root 3 times root 2 equal root 6. Plus here 4, and then 1 times root 2 is root 2. You have a common denominator? Yes, I just write it and add the numerators. We have here root 6 and you have here root 2. This is the answer. So the answer will be letter B. So letter B is our answer. Letter B is our answer. Without calculators. Without calculators. He asked you this problem without calculators. If you have your calculator, just you have about 3 seconds. Just write 105, sine 105 equal, and the calculator gives you the result. But now, without calculator, you can. Okay. Okay. By the same way, I'm going to number 10 and return back to 7 and 8, to 8 and 9. What about number 10? The same. The same. Number 10 is the same. Cosine 75. Cosine 75. So, Mr. 75. How can I get 75 by plus or by minus for the famous angles? Huh? What plus what or what minus what equals 75 from the famous angles? Okay, so it's a cosine 75. We can get it from 30 plus 45. 30 plus what? 45. So I just get the result. I just get the result. What's cosine? Mr. Cosine, cosine, sine, sine. So cosine the first. Cosine the second. Excellent. Minus, not plus. If you have here plus, it will be minus in cosine. Sine the first. Sine the second. Start. So it's equal. Cosine 30. Cosine 30 is root 3 over 2. Multiply by cosine 45, root 2 over 2. Minus sine 30. It's equal to half. Sine 45, root 3, root 2, sorry, over 2. By the same way, multiply 2 times 2 equals to 4, and then root 3, root 2, it will be root 6. Minus down 4, and here root 2. Oh, the same number, but just it's minus, not plus. So root 6 minus root. Letter B also. Letter B also. Now we're going to number 8 and number 9. Number 8 and number 9. I replace. Number 8. In number 8, he asked me, what is the exact value of this expression? Mister, it is the opposite. Wallahi, number 8 and number 9, it is the opposite. In number 7 and number 10, I gave you the problem and you need to expand the rule. But here he gave me the expansion. The expansion. I need to condense it, to collect it. I collect. Mr. Sine, cosine, cosine, sine. It's the rule of the sine of cosine. Mr. Sine, cosine, cosine, sine. It's the rule of sine. Sine what? Sine, the addition or subtraction of two angles. From where I know the addition or subtraction? From the middle sign. The middle sign is negative, so just write here negative. And what is the first angle? The first angle, Mister, is 60 plus theta. All this is the first angle. So 60 plus theta. And what is the second angle? The second angle is here. So it's a theta. Cancel, Mister. Negative theta with positive theta. So it will be sine 60. Sine 60 equals to what? To root 3 over 2. We get the result. We get the result. So this is the result of number 8. So the rule can come as an expansion. I need the expansion like number 7 and number 10, or like condense or reduce, as I give you the expansion and I ask you to condense or to reduce or to simplify. Number 9, the same. This rule, Mr. It's a tan 30 plus tan 15 over 1 minus tan 30 tan 15. So this is the rule of the tan. So tan plus or minus. The sign here is plus, the upper sign is plus, so it's a plus. The upper sign is minus, it's minus. And the lower sign is the opposite, Okay? So, Mr. It's 30 plus 15. So, Mr. It will be sine 30 plus 15. It means, Mr. 45. Sine 45 is equal to what? It's one of the famous angles, which are, yes, it's equal to 1. It's equal to 1. So sine 45 equals to 1. So just that. This is the answer of number 9. I'm going to talk about the exam. I'm going to talk about the exam. About what? The exam. The exam of what? Of geometry. Are you ready? Are you ready for the exam? I think my dear students are sleeping now. Huh. Okay, pay attention with me. I always choose that I give you the exam not in the session, not to waste the time of the session. We need to go in our curriculum, but you will have the exam. Inshallah, the next session, will be next Sunday at the same time. Next Sunday at the same time. Okay, 8:30. 8:30. And inshallah, it will be the night before Ramadan. Before Ramadan. I'll give you the time of Ramadan, or the timing for the Ramadan, inshallah, in this session. And also, inshallah, next Friday morning, I'll send an exam like the exercises in the group. The exam like the exercises in the group. And I wait for your response, for your answer in the same day, please. So I gave you the exam in the session. Mister, we will waste the time of the session, even if it's 10 problems or 10 items. That's right. So I give you the chance to work tomorrow and after tomorrow. And I give you the exam at the morning, so Friday morning, and it will be with you till Friday, till whole Friday. The next day, Saturday, I give you the answers. And you can check your mark. Okay? So, mm,
Mister, I mean, I wrote Miss instead of Mister. That's what I mean.
okay,
So I messed up.
there is no problem. Okay, so inshallah, next Friday, okay, it's suitable.
Yes, next Friday morning.
Yes, I send it morning, and you have the
Okay.
whole you have the whole Friday, but it will be 20 items, not 10. Okay,
Okay,
20
okay.
items.
Yes, it's fine.
Inshallah, next Friday, you have the whole Friday. And inshallah, Saturday morning, I'll send the answers. And in the
Okay.
next session, inshallah, Sunday, if you have any problem, after I send the answers, we can talk about problem number 3, problem number 17, problem number 12, and so on. Okay?
Yes, okay.
Okay, see you,
Mister, you
inshallah.
don't mean, Miss, I just have a question. You don't mean that it's Friday after tomorrow. No, it's the one next week, right?
No, after tomorrow.
After tomorrow. Okay, okay.
Yes,
After tomorrow.
after
Yes.
tomorrow, inshallah, because The next Friday we will work in differentiation and integration. So
Okay.
we will finish geometry and the trigonometry. After trigonometry, also we'll make an exam on trigonometry. Okay. So
Okay.
after each
Okay.
branch, inshallah, we will make an exam for the whole branch. Even if we finished, we can get an exam for the collected problems. Thanks.
So the
Uh,
I'm sorry for annoying you
okay.
just for a minute. The material that I should study for Friday is all geometry that we took, right?
Yes, all geometry sessions. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so
And
much.
the problems not the same. I give the same ideas, but not the same problems.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And see you inshallah next Sunday.